Okay, John Samoa's a man who represented England at 2 major tournaments, won 40 caps. A very good morning, Phil Jagielka. Phil, morning.
Morning, Phil. How are you, mate?
Good morning, guys.
Phil, let's start. What was your make of England at the back? Alan and I were saying the full-backs were superb, but the centre-backs were good as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that the two centre-backs got an opportunity, as you said, in such a hostile environment. I went to the game myself, and obviously, it's going to be, it's local derby-ish, but without it actually being a qualifier, it was quite intense, to be perfectly honest, especially from the Scots. So it was nice to see that those two guys got tested in that atmosphere. But like you say, it just, the whole team itself, it just looks very comfortable, and that's a really nice word to use. And I thought, like you say, we controlled the game throughout pretty much. Maybe a 10-minute period when, obviously, after we conceded, but to be fair, my boys dug it out, and I think we were always going to get the next goal.
Phil, couldn't disagree with any of that, mate. We mentioned on the centre-backs, and I agree with you, I don't think Scotland as an attacking force were particularly good last night. However, I thought Mark Gay and Lewis Dunk were very, very comfortable. Were you a little bit surprised at half-time? I was defending Gareth's right to make changes, obviously, and do what he sees fit for his team moving forward. However, I was a little bit surprised that he brought Maguire on. Even if there was an injury to Gay, I thought he might have given an opportunity to Tomori or Caldwell or one of these boys. As I say, I didn't see the logic's perhaps not the right word, but putting Maguire into a situation where we knew it would be a volatile one for him.
Yeah, well, you realise quickly after a few minutes, obviously the fans decided to make him the pantomime villain. But I think it's a difficult one with him not getting loads of minutes at Man U. Obviously, he's in Gareth's plans going forward for the rest of the qualifiers, probably for the tournament coming up. So you saw caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. He must have had a conversation, and Harry must have wanted to play. It also, I suppose, lets the younger centre-halves know there's still sort of, they've got to get past him still at England to be able to get the shirt. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. It was always a difficult one. If they put a younger defender on, a less than experienced one, and you guys score like you do and maybe get back in the game, he probably gets a little bit of stick there. So yeah, it's always difficult. Coming on as a defender is never nice. Unless you go and score a hat-trick, there's not really much you can do.
I must admit, Phil,
to have a great game.
Ali and I were praying Scotland would get back in it and make it a game. But when the ball goes in the back of the net and you look up and it's Harry, you're thinking, oh my God, nothing's going right for this fella.
You couldn't write it. I think up to that point, he was perfect. He had 100% pass completion. He did everything that he needed to do. But as you said, like he was... so he was made the victim by the Scottish folk, but I'm sure he'll be okay.
Surely he's got a... Would you agree, Phil, that January, make your mind up, Harry, move on, right? Because at the end of the day, there's no point if you've been at a football club as great as Manchester United is. There's no point if the manager doesn't rate you, he's not going to. You're not in his plans. So what's the point of staying there? You're just wasting part of your career, which goes very quick.
Yeah, I think obviously once you've played and your career's gone, it's easier to give someone that sort of advice. But I think if the deal was good enough, and you never know what parts break down in the deal to potentially get out of a club. I'm sure he's desperate for football. Like, he enjoys playing football. He wants first team football, but I suppose in his eyes, it's what the right decision is, what the right club is, for his family, for himself moving forward. But yeah, I'm sure, even though we're quite a distance away from January, that things will be trying to get sorted sooner rather than later, because he'll be desperate to get some minutes in, because it will get harder and harder to keep onto that England shirt the less minutes he gets potentially at Man U.
Mm-hmm. Phil, tell me, we've been... I'm seeing we've getting a little bit of stick for it, raving about one or two of the England performances. No real surprise for me regarding the likes of Walker and Foden. Thought Rashford was excellent first half, and certainly no surprise for the man of the match. I've been raving about him for years, mate, a good couple of years. Bellingham, superb, mate.
Yeah, well, it's nice for us to be able to see a bit more of him. Obviously, he's played a lot of his football abroad. And you see his name flash up when he's scoring for Dortmund. He's obviously gone to Real Madrid and hit the ground running. I think he was similar records to when Ronaldo went over there, scoring goals and things like that. So it was nice to see him given that role. And he is a physical specimen, but he seemed to grow. When he put the England shirt on, he seemed to grow into the role. He makes good runs. He could have had a couple of assists if maybe a couple of his passes would have gone if we were being a bit nitpicky.
How quick's his feet, by the way?
Oh.
But like he's like I say, I was really impressed by his performance, and he looks fantastic in an England shirt, and it's quite an iconic number 10. It's just everything just sort of suited him last night, and we don't want to get too carried away because he's still obviously a young man. But when you've got £120 million price tag, you're playing for Real Madrid and you're playing for England. People are going to get carried away, and I'm sure he made a few more fans if he needed to last night. And if he keeps performing like that, it is something positive.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sure Harry Kane's delighted to have him in there as well. Someone, not only obviously he's able to go past people, but obviously with the assist as well. So, things are looking bright at both ends of the pitch.
Phil, great to talk again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.
Have
Safe
a
journey
lovely
back,
day.
mate.
Thank you.
See you later.
Phil
All the best.
Jagielka. Just a quick one as well. How do you think, I'm not trying to stir up here, Ali, but how do you think Maddison's thinking the way he started the season?
He's probably a little bit disappointed. It was interesting to listen to Graeme last night, Graeme Souness. Graeme's a massive fan. And I'm a fan as well of James Maddison. I think he's had clearly a fantastic start to the season with Spurs. The only thing I would say, Al, that's arguably one of the strongest positions now, England. You think about it. They've started on the right-hand side, Foden and Rashford. They've got Saka. They've got Grealish. They've got Maddison. The way he's going to play the way he's playing it, Gareth, at this moment in time, and he was getting stick before the game. He had two sitters, Phillips and Rice. He plays his three and Harry Kane. So the way Bellingham's playing at the moment, he looks as though he's made that number 10 position his own. So it looks as though there's only two positions up for grabs, the one on the right and one on the left. And then you've got, as I mentioned, you've got 4 or 5 top class players.
Mason Mount.
Correct. He's went off the boil a little bit. So it's, I can understand. Maddison will probably be disappointed at not getting any action last night, but he's realistic enough, and he'll be enjoying himself. Obviously, he's moved to Tottenham where he's doing well. So it's a tough ask for him, but he'll keep fighting away.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.